Good morning, everybody. Come on, let's get up. Sing our opening song. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah,
Good morning, CSL Simi Valley. Welcome to our version of virtual church. We call it the Virch. And happy Sunday morning to you. Woke up this morning with my mind. Yes, indeed. Stayed on spirit. That's a beautiful way to wake up the day. Oh, I know. Here, I'm gonna do the school teacher thing and put the glasses down on the nose and look at you because I can see eye to eye that way. And just want to welcome you this morning. And also kind of do a flashback to last week for just a moment. Took a day off and oh, wow. I don't know about you, but I was blown away by what Reverend Johanna brought us last week. A beautiful message, just right down into exactly what needs to be talked about. And the whole nation, the entire world continues to focus its energy on social justice and on changing what's happening with our law enforcement officials around the country to bring more awareness of how powerful it is to be united to practice oneness in every aspect of our lives. The Centers for Spiritual Living has been deeply involved in that as well. There are a lot of things happening at centers all over the country, fantastic things that are going on. Members of the centers are taking classes, starting classes, workshops, study groups, and writing materials. In fact, the former president of the Leadership Council wrote an incredible poem, and I'd like to share that with you this morning. I'm going to ask Reverend Johanna, are you ready? Would you like to read that for us, please?
I'm ready.
Okay, here you go. Reverend Johanna bringing you, she'll tell you what it is.
So Tracy Brown, TSL practitioner, used to be the president of the Leadership Council, has a Facebook group which is called What Is Mine to Do, a very safe space to learn about race and racism. And she saw a post there and somebody posted, "What happened to that poor black man in Minneapolis just breaks my heart." And she responded, "That strong black man's name is George Floyd. And if his murder breaks your heart, what are you going to do to break the pattern of race-based hatred and violence?" And then she posted this poem she wrote. It's called If This Breaks Your Heart. If this breaks your heart, break the pattern of race-based hatred. Break the system that allows it to be. Break the silence you have hidden behind for so long. Grieve for the loss of another black man. Grieve for the loss of respect and justice. Grieve for the loss of your own innocence. Grieve, then get to work. If this breaks your heart, break the pattern of race-based hatred. Break the system that allows it to be. Break the silence you have hidden behind for so long. Speak up for those who have been ignored. Speak up for systems that are fair. Speak up as a person who cares about all people. Speak up for the kind of world you want to see. If this breaks your heart, break the pattern of race-based hatred. Break the system that allows it to be. Break the silence you have hidden behind for so long. Demand justice. Demand accountability. Demand respect. Demand self-involvement. If this breaks your heart, break the pattern of race-based hatred. Break the system that allows it to be. Break the silence you have hidden behind for so long. Commit to becoming a voice for change in your own city, in your own neighborhood, in your own family. If this breaks your heart, break the pattern of race-based hatred. Break the system that allows it to be. Break the silence you have hidden behind for so long.
Thank you, Reverend Johanna. The pattern is breaking. The silence is breaking in our own community in Simi Valley. A powerful protest, peaceful protest yesterday, marching down Sycamore and up Tapo Canyon to City Hall, and to just a wonderful demonstration to take place. And, you know, you may be thinking, wow, are we going to keep talking about this? Yeah, we are. We're going to keep this on the forefront of our minds. We've had this happen so many times. The names go back. And it's important for us to hold on to the idea, and then, as Dr. Holmes teaches us, if we have a focused thought, that focused thought will make a change. And so we can continue our focused thought around this issue. And we've already seen lots of changes taking place, having the protests in Simi Valley just one of them. And we'll continue to do this over time. It's a powerful thing that our community can do to keep this on the forefront of our minds and to not let it become a trend, a news cycle-driven energy. It can be a people-driven energy, the way it already has become. Jamie Lula and Gary Floyd recently wrote a new song. I was asked to speak with some members of the Mile High Center for Spiritual Living. They interviewed me this week. I was with Reverend Masando Hirioka, Reverend Michelle Madrano, and their associate and spiritual leader at Mile High, Reverend Josh Reeves. Some of you know Josh because he was at my ordination and he was my mentor minister. I wrote an article proposed an article for the Science of Mind magazine, and I passed it by Josh and Masando to read, and they thought, wow, you know what? I'd love to have a conversation with you at Mile High. So I talked with them a little bit, and one of the things I talked about was how just how our teaching, I think, is wonderful for making the kind of changes we need to have come in our. Here's a little excerpt from that interview.
The United States has become the catalyst, a flashpoint. Not only have we spread blue jeans and Walkmans around the world, now we're spreading the possibility for complete social and interracial justice around the world. And that's powerful. So as I looked at this conversation, I'm thinking, what kind of bridges can we build? And I find that the Science of Mind is uniquely positioned to build these kind of bridges because we have this idea that there's only one life. That life is God. That life is my life and your life.
Life is my life and your life now. That's just an excerpt of the interview. The whole thing will be on Mile High's Facebook page later this week, and we'll post a link to it in our e-blast as soon as they release it out into the public as well. So just want to let you see just some of the things that we're doing to keep this conversation going through CSL Simi Valley, through CSL as an organization, and throughout the world. So we'll keep our eye focused on it. That's one of the ways that we bring our mission and our vision statement into life. That we're not only trying to affect our personal lives, but we're trying to create a world that works for everyone. Join me now as we do our mission and our vision statement together. We're community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God in gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do.
Good morning. I'm Dorothy.
And I'm Colin.
Colin's behind the camera this morning. Welcome to our Facebook Live Light Church Worship Celebration. So glad you are joining us this morning. And here's what we do. The first thing we do each week is connect with others by sharing the Verge on your page or on a friend's Facebook page. Take a moment now and click that little arrow. And why not? You're here. Have a loved one join us. That's how we stay together while we're apart. We'll take a pause while you support our cause to help create a world that works for everyone through using the tools of our powerful teaching. And if you know someone who can't be with us live, the service will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, CSL Simi Valley, later today. Also, a link to the archive Virch services can be found on the homepage at our website, cslsimi.org. This week's Wednesday night experience features Reverend Rob Thompson. Join him for his interview series, Wednesday Night Time for Fun. He will be interviewing the newly minted Reverend Connie Tibbetts-Milner, who began her Science of Mind journey with us here at CSL Simi Valley. Wednesday Time for Fun with Reverend Rob is happening on Zoom. The meeting ID is 256-864-274. Password is 473831. Don't worry if you missed it. The link and password is sent with our weekly e-blast, and on Monday you can find it on our website calendar. Next Saturday, June 13th at 10 a.m., the women of CSL Simi Valley are planning to meet, again, over Zoom. You can get the details, including the meeting ID and password, by emailing Jan Daly at songbird1@sbcglobal.net or PM Jan on her Facebook Messenger. The theme is I Deserve. Our men's group, the Giants, has been very active, providing support to members during our time away from the building. Contact Costa at costajoyce@sbcglobal.net for information on the Giants' numerous service opportunities and meeting times. Families with young ones are invited to check out our Youth and Family Director, Dr. Susan Hulton, for Play and Learn with Dr. Susan. Play and Learn lessons are posted each week to our YouTube channel, CSL Simi Valley. You can watch Dr. Susan live streaming on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. through the CSL Simi website. Reverend Stephen streams live on Facebook Monday through Friday. Catch his segment, Practicing Oneness at 1, for moments of reflection, inspiration, and support. You'll find him at 1 p.m. on his Facebook personal page. Search Stephen Rambo. Channel your best Spielbergs or Casey, Kugler, or Coen brothers by directing and shooting a video short of yourself greeting the community. Be creative, have fun, and most importantly, be you. Videos should be no longer than 30 seconds. Email your clip to Reverend Stephen at revstephen@cslsimi.org. Look for your video short at the close of service. Remember, our center's practitioners and ministers are just a click or a phone call away, ready to provide emotional and spiritual support. Reach out to them for prayer or with any questions you may have. Their phone numbers are listed on our website, or you can email the center or call the office to leave a message. Welcome to all of you viewing from wherever you are. We are so grateful you have chosen to spend this time with us this morning. And now, back to Reverend Stephen.
And we're going to toss it right over to Reb Rob Thompson, who is our practitioner of the day. He'll bring us the affirmation, the inspirational reading, and a treatment. Rob Thompson.
Our affirmation for today is, I take a breath, pause, and intentionally engage in the flow of life. So let's do this together. I take a breath, pause, and intentionally engage in the flow of life. My reading today is from Dharma Road by the Zen practitioner Brian Haycock. The point is simply to be a decent human being. That doesn't seem so hard, but these are difficult times. And it's easy to find excuses to let this aspect of our spiritual practice slide. We have to take care of ourselves, and after that, we may not have much left over for others. Loving kindness doesn't come easily to me, which probably means I should take it up and work extra hard on it. There's a book on the Buddhist shelf at the library, Gentling the Heart. When I see the title, I know it's not for me. People who would want to read a book like that probably don't need to be that much more loving towards others. And the people who need it the most, like me, won't read it. You don't see much loving kindness out on the street these days. Everyone's battling the traffic, trying to get ahead of everyone else. We could use a few real bodhisattvas out here. People who can help calm things down and show the rest of us how it could be. I'd like to do that myself, but I've got a ways to go. I'm working on it, and I'm learning. So let's intentionally, consciously engage life together, knowing that there is only one divine essence, one source, one love, one power, one entity. And that one is perfect. It is divine, it is eternal, it is creative. And so each of us has all of those attributes. We are divine. We are creative. We are eternal. We are powerful. And from this place of knowing, we give great thanks for this teaching, for this place to learn more in this hard time on the road. We are a community, and we are part of a larger community because everything is divine. We look at what's going on in the world and we see conflict, and we know that this is just an apparent difference, because the truth is we are all divine children of God. So from this place of knowing, giving great thanks for this teaching, for this place to meet in cyberspace, for all of our friends and neighbors, everyone who is on this road with us together, and that is everyone. We know that everything works out for the good. And we intentionally engage with life to move in that direction, to move towards the good for all, to create a world that works for everyone. And with great thanksgiving, great peace, great joy and love, we release this word to the law, and the law says, yes. The law says, as you wish. And we accept this and receive this and make it so when we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Rob. Appreciate that. Sherry Deeds is our musical director, and this is her Sunday. She gets us some fantastic guest artists, but this is her Sunday to do the music, and she has come up with something really fun. Sherry, her son Dylan, and her husband John got together and put a video and created a video out of a song that she wrote herself. And I think you're going to find this to be really pretty special. So let's now go to Sherry Deeds with Like an Onion.
Lonely soul, where do you wander? Out among the ruins tonight, a pilgrimage to the promised land, a lover's delight. Like Dorothy, you've been searching for what you've had all the time. Just click your heels and repeat out loud, the love I need is mine. Closer to the center, get down to the core, find the truth within, and peel the onion skin. Heavy soul, can I help you to get through the fire and ice? I listen to your problems and give loving advice. Take a breath of clean air, stand on solid ground, gaze ahead with an open heart, then turn it all around. To get closer to the center, you've got to get down to the core, find the truth within. You got to peel the onion skin. We never get to where we're going, just farther from where we've been. So far. Layer by layer, we tear back the walls and peel the onion skin. Gentle soul, look forward into the shining light. Let the spark ignite the sleeping flame that's your inner side. So much closer to the center, you got to get down to the core, find the truth within. Listen to that voice within, and peel the onion skin. Find that truth. Listen to that voice, and peel the onion skin. Find that truth. Listen to that voice, and peel the onion. Find that truth. Listen to that voice, and peel the onion.
Wow. Sherry, that was beautiful. Sorry about that. Yes, it's the onion skin. Peel the onion skin. I won't do that. I won't sing your song because it was too beautiful. The video. So that was her son Dylan doing Dylan. Excellent editing. Love the drone shots and John, your cameo as the Buddha. Beautiful, right? And Sherry, sweet song, lovely lyrics, great production. The Deeds McCluskey family is talented. Look out, the Osmonds, look out, King family, look out, Jacksons, all of them. Look out, the McCluskeys are on the way, doing their thing. Peel the onion skin. That was lovely. Okay, yeah, I know where we're going. It's time to bring it down a bit and to go within as we travel into the gap meditation, and to lead us in and out of the gap is our dear Rob Thompson.
And now it's time for the gap, the God awareness place, and the gap between thoughts. So it has multiple meanings. So let's take this time now to consciously connect with the divine, taking slow breaths and easing our thoughts and just welcoming whatever comes in and blessing it and let it go. So let's begin. So that's our little gap meditation, God awareness place. If you find this useful, I invite you to any time just be still, take a breath, and enjoy the gap.
Thanks, Reverend Rob. Let me do that here. Enjoy the gap. Oh, the gap meditation. I wanted to come back and mention that every year, the United Church of Religious Science and Religious Science International, before we became the joined together Centers for Spiritual Living, spent their summers at Asilomar for the summer retreat. And that was a special place. A lot of people loved going to Asilomar. And the new SOAR summer retreat has gone to Asilomar and will be returning from time to time. I don't know if they're coming back again this year, but they were there last year. And it's just such a special place. It has deep memories. Dr. Holmes loved going to Asilomar, speaking in Merrill Hall. And our own Sherry Deeds was there in 2001 and had a chance to perform. And I bring you her performance from Merrill Hall when she was there in 2001. Sherry Deeds. What a sweet blast from the past. Sherry Deeds at a Sillamar. Wow. I mean, that song first, Imagine. And so perfect for where we are today because a lot of us are imagining a different kind of world and a different way to be in the world and are making our voices heard through our body, through our actions. And it's a powerful thing to watch and to see. But I also think about the Sillamar for a lot of us bring some fond memories, summer retreats at a Sillamar, and for a few they're missing it terribly much, and occasionally SOAR has gone back there. So it's a part of the Science of Mind experience, and to see Sherry there singing from Merrill Hall, powerful, powerful stuff. Thank you for that. Today, our talk title, Take a Breath. Join me as I take a breath. The breath is so powerful. It's what we concentrate on in meditation frequently. It's what people say when they see you all upset. Hey, take a breath, take a breath. It's a powerful message for us to take a breath. And the activator around taking a breath today is it opens up to what I think is our shared superpower. We all share it. We share a superpower. It's right here. It's the conscious mind, conscious thought, the ability to have free will and to make up our mind, volition to choose the life that we want to lead and to do our part in making it happen. And how do we make that conscious thought happen? Through our concentration and through our imagination. Imagining what it is that we want and holding that idea in mind, embodying that idea. That's the Science of Mind perspective on creating the life you want to live. And the mind, when it showed up on the earth, it was like the best thing since sliced bread. At least the best thing since oxygen. I mean, oxygen showed up and then life could show up and then humankind showed up with this brain of ours that allowed us to move ahead of so many things and create so much. It's been awesome. The conscious mind, it has constructed a wonderful world for us, but the conscious mind has also been destructive as well. It's how we choose to use it. And unlike oxygen, which I'm sure there are ways that too much oxygen just will not work for you, right? But for the most part, the mind is the one that can mess us up, and it also can bless us up. And it's our choice to see how we use this shared superpower of conscious thought. How do we tap into that power for good that Dr. Holmes talks about that existed far before we got here, and it continues to exist and is available to us whether we decide to use it or not. In fact, whether we decide to use it or not, we're using it. Because if we're not conscious with our thoughts, if we're not aware of what we're doing, then we allow ourselves to be moved through life by the law of averages, by what Dr. Holmes calls race consciousness. And we can see that those collective thoughts and habitual ways of being that do not go unquestioned or unexamined. What does Socrates say? The unexamined life is not worth living. If we don't examine the life that we're living, we're not living consciously. We're not making use of that power available for good that's right here before us. We're not making use of our creative power. And if we're not making use of our creative power, our shared superpower, as I'm calling it, we're not making use of our God power. And it's here for us to use. It's here for us to choose. Dr. Holmes says that man's thought is creative because his thought is God power flowing through his individualized will and imagination. Humankind's thought, your thought, my thought, your mother's thought, your brother's thought, your sister's thought, your father's thought, your friend's thought. It's all God power flowing through that individualized mind, that individualized will, that individualized imagination. We got to see such a treat of imagination, and you'll see some of it at the end of service today, where Maverick Adams in the Kissimmee Community Salon this week, where the theme was authenticity, showed his authentic self with his Lego creations, and they were a stroke of genius. You'll see a little bit later. Stick around for the end of service. You can see how he used his imagination to spark all of our imaginations through that conscious will and that drive, right, to activate his own superpower and to live in that activation. You see, what we teach in Science of Mind and what is available to us, to each and every one of us, is that we will receive in life what we are mentally willing and able to take. And by that I mean we have to assume and embody the thinking that we're holding on to so that can be the demonstration, the experience in our lives. Our unbelief Our unbelief will work as well. Dr. Holmes says the law will work no matter what. It'll prove to you that it's working by not working, and that means it'll prove to you that it's working by making your unbelief. It'll prove to you that it's not working by having your unbelief become your demonstration. So what we get to do is, like they say in Proverbs, as a man thinketh, so he is, right? His life is as he thinks it. Our life reflects our thought. How is your life reflecting your thought? How are you activating your divine superpower? If it's going willy-nilly crazy, you might want to slow down and take a breath. I was at a class years ago, and we had to contemplate various things of how we were moving through our life. And I came up with this thought that, my first thought may not be a God thought, but my second thought is. My second thought can be activated by the breath. My second thought can be the one that comes in that moment of pausing and questioning and examining and using my willpower, my free choice to look at a deeper possibility and to imagine that possibility as my life. Henry David Thoreau says to us, live the life you have imagined. Well, if I'm going to live the life I have imagined, I have to begin to use my thought intentionally. Right? And it's a very careful process of using your thought intentionally. We learn about that in Science of Mind. That's why we take the classes. That's what the teaching is so often about. When I was a kid, my mom and I would go to the Jewish Community Center, and we would fence. I learned the foil. She did the epee. And my teacher would tell me when he'd see me holding the foil, he said, no, you're holding it too tight. So I'd let it loose. He said, and then they would knock it out of my hand. He says, no, it's too loose. He says, your foil is like a bird. It's like a bird, Stephen. And if you hold it too tight, you'll kill the bird. But if you hold it too loosely, the bird will fly away. And thought is like that. If we hold our thought too tight, we'll kill the idea. But if we hold it too loosely, tell everybody about it, don't focus on it, the thought will fly away. We don't use our concentration, the thought will fly away, and the experience will never be made manifest in our life. We won't have that experience where our unbelief will be our acceptance and our demonstration. So a lot of things we have to do is train ourselves on how to find that balance between holding the bird too tight and letting the bird fly away. That comes down to some training. And one of the number one trainers is that thing called take a breath. That's why there's so much time spent on it in meditation. Breathe, follow your breath, follow it. It lets you flow into your body and to get grounded into your experience. At the salon this week, where Maverick did his wonderful art exhibit, and people read poetry, and John Shealy read poetry, and members sang songs, and it was just wonderful. And in between each presentation, the facilitators, Dorothy and Reverend Johanna, asked everyone to take a pause, to take a breath, slow down. And what that did was it allowed every person's contribution to land on the heart, to take on more meaning. We're so quick to go, yeah, that was so great. But when we do that, we miss something. We can take that breath. And that's why our treatment work, our Science of Mind treatment work, and at various steps that are involved in that, that's all designed for that same kind of thing, to train us to use this superpower of conscious thought, to slow us down a little bit, to do that breath training, to learn how to activate and actualize the inner power within us, and to use that inner power for good. Sometimes when I'm working here on the computer and I'm trying to figure something out, and I get a document and I want to email it to somebody, it won't go, and I need more information, I stop and I click the little button that opens up a folder and a file within that folder that says get info. And then I can read all the information around that particular document and get a better understanding of how I might be able to share it or where it's located in the computer, right? That comes from slowing down, taking thought. See, information in that moment of pausing, in that moment of breath training we're talking about, information allows me to relieve and resolve any doubts I may have. It may even open myself up to an answer that I hadn't been aware of because I've slowed down enough to allow spirit to inform me of something bigger, something more. We're so busy rushing around, rush, got to get it. We're so busy rushing. I mean, if I get a question and I'm with some people and I want to answer, what are you going to do? Right away on the phone. Google, give me the answer. maybe we could just slow down a minute and somebody at the table might already know the answer. And then we get to acknowledge their wisdom and share in that moment of connection instead of diving off into the electronic world and letting somebody else answer it for us. I mean, I get it. But why we do it. But I think one of the reasons why we do it is, well, it's covered by Kevin Griffin in his wonderful book, One Breath at a Time. He says, it's hard living with uncertainty. Sometimes it can seem easier to make a decision now just so you don't have to live with that discomfort. It's hard living with uncertainty. We want to have certainty. Certain times be good. It feels good when you know what the answer is. But if we can go back to the beginning of this that I talked about, that higher power for good that knows, and trust in that higher power, we're not really sitting in uncertainty at all. What we're sitting in is that cooking time. We're sitting in that unfolding time. We're sitting in that opportunity time for the imagination to be made real and for us to even widen the possibilities of what our imagination may be telling us we can do. Maybe it's not discomfort at all. Maybe it's no more discomfort than the oak tree that's growing through rocky soil and comes up with its really twisted, gnarly trunk and limbs to spread out across the horizons to create this beautiful shade and these lovely acorns for the squirrels to come and harvest. Maybe the discomfort and the uncertainty is not discomfort and uncertainty at all. It's simply the process of life unfolding. You ever think of that? It's just life unfolding. Maybe it's an opportunity for us to loosen our grip on the foil, loosen our grip on the idea so that more information can come to us. And in these practices, we get to tap into that divine wisdom. These tools I'm talking about, they're valuable. The tool of attention, the tool of patience will help to maximize our concentration versus acting purely in the mechanical rote memory kind of way. I hear people that just rattle off the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, just, or the Serenity Prayer, God grant me the serenity, or off they go. But do we stop? When I stop, our Father, whose Father? Our Father. What is that? That's a loving presence that cares for me, who art in heaven, who resides in a land of perfection, that has the answers to every desire. Hallowed be thy name. Wholeness is thy name. The whole universe, it's available for us. And we can slow down and sit with the words a little bit of any experience. We learn how to overcome our obstacles through this valuable concentration. We know how to focus our time through our breath and to extend the amount of time through our breath. And sometimes we get to learn that we need to wait for more information to show up. There's the story of the seeker. You might be familiar with this story. There was a seeker who just desired to know the truth. He really wanted to know the truth. And so he was told by a wise arbiter, he was told to go to a well and ask the well for the truth that he was seeking. And he went to the well and he asked this question. And an answer came up from the well that said, go to the intersection of the town. And so he went to this intersection of this town. And while he was there, he noticed that there was a metal shop on one corner and a wood shop on another corner and a wire store, like thin wire, on another corner. And he went into each store, and the store owners and the shop shop clerks weren't very forthcoming toward the truth that he was seeking. And he was very dejected. He goes back to the well and says, what up? You tell me to go. I don't know if he said what up because it's an old story. Maybe they weren't saying what up then. But anyway, he did today. He walked over. He says, what up? You told me to come here to go to the town and to talk to these people at these stores. And there's just a guy selling wood and another guy selling metal. And then this other guy, he's selling wire. And I didn't get any truth there. He says, patience. Take a breath. You'll know. So the seeker went on about his life. He get any answers there. He went on about his life. And years later, one day, he was sitting out in a field, focused on meditation. deep breathing, and he heard the most beautiful sitar music. And he went over to listen to it. He sought it out, and he listened, and he sat with the player. And as he was sitting listening to the music, he was like, oh, I see. See, the sitar was made of metal and wood, and the music was coming off of the thin wire. And in that moment, he had an understanding that it took an assimilation of all the wisdom and all the time. In that moment of taking that breath, he came to understand that everything that he needed to know was there. It just needed to be assembled through time and experience and embodiment and understanding. These various things I'm trying to share with you today. In a wonderful book called What We May Be, Piero Ferrucci says, we have already been given everything we need. Our task is to assemble and use it in an appropriate way. We've already been given everything we need. Our task is to assemble and use it in an appropriate way. If you think about, when I think about my life, I mean, right now, what I'm doing with you right now, this is an assimilation of all the things that I've ever done to this point. My earliest career was in radio, learning to be a DJ, moving things around, records and cassettes and tapes and stuff. And then I became a photographer in a newsroom, a video photographer and a video editor in a newsroom. And then I got a show, and I became a director for a little bit, a technical director, pushing the buttons on the show. And then they got me in front of the camera, and I was able to speak in front of the camera. Then I learned how to draw graphics and do the weather and speak ad lib, just speak off the cuff, off of notes. And then I became a minister. And now today, because of COVID, I had to learn how to produce a show and direct a show and speak on camera, but create the graphics. It's everything I need has already been given to me to bring to us, the Center for Spiritual Living Simi Valley, and those that have joined in from afar, an opportunity to get a part of our teaching. And everything in our life is like that. Think about that. And see, this is the power of living and understanding that we live in an infinite universe. Everything we need is an infinity, and it is through us calming down a little bit and taking that breath and using that imagination and imagining a life that we want and holding that life just comfortably enough, not so hard that we don't allow other information in, but not so loose that we forget the idea, so we can see the whole story and actualize and activate this superpower of concentrated thought to bring our good into our life. It's a wonderful opportunity that we have, particularly now when the country is crying out for new ideas, crying out for new areas of harmonious interaction, higher levels of social justice and peace in our streets. There's been no time greater in my recent memory, and perhaps even in your own, when these teachings that we have in the science of mind have been more available, more precious, more in need, more ready to be used. The idea of love and law, that there is a loving presence that operates through immutable laws that are activated by our conscious willpower, our conscious will, our conscious choice to be in faith. So I think that taking a breath creates space, and we need space. I think in the creation of space, we can move from our disbelief to our levels of belief. Our former spiritual leader for our organization, Ken Gordon, used to say that the time between what we think and what we experience is the measure of our disbelief. But if that time becomes shorter, the shorter that time span between what we think and what we experience, that can be the measure of our belief, right? Our intentional breathing readies us for the intention of creation. Our time out gives us time in to create the life that we've imagined. Wayne Dyer says in his lovely book, Power of Intention, that you get what you intend to create by being in harmony with the power of intention, which is responsible for all creation. Are you ready to get what you intend to create? Can you be in harmony with the power of intention, knowing that as you do so, you are being able to that creative power for good? And I can contend, and it's my invitation to you, that when you feel yourself, when I know this is what I'm going to do, when I feel myself racing, when I feel myself running through the gamut of what if and all those other things that tell me that I might be in doubt, I'm going to choose to take a breath. And in that breath, I'm going to activate my creative superpower of the mind, of conscious thought, and then begin to live the life I've imagined. I invite you to do the same. Join me as we take a breath. Our affirmation for today: I take a breath, pause, and intentionally engage in the flow of life. Take a breath, pause, and engage in the flow of life. Let's engage in the power of prayer. It's time for now to go into our healing prayer. And I thank all of you for posting your prayer request. And I'm going to take a pause for everyone right now to just bring to consciousness, bring to the highest level of consciousness any person that you want to bring into prayer, any idea you want to see realized in your life, to be attracted into your experience by the conscious power of that superpower mind of thought that you have available to you. So in that pause, bring that forward, and then we will pray together in our moment of healing prayer. So here's what I know. There is one power, one life, manifest as each and every one of us. By manifest, I mean existing. The reality of our experience is that we are that agent of God in expression in the time-space module in this thing called life. Each and every one of us. And what I hold dear in my mind, I know is true for each person here that is listening, that we have access to this one power, we have access to this one presence. As we speak our word, we bring into our experience that intentional creative thought that springs forth from our conscious mind. Right here and right now, I speak a word of healing that is brought forth by the idea spoken by T. Michael for Patricia and Anoa as they move through the more fluid form of health in the body. That same truth is being known for Maggie's Marianne and Don Kehoe in this moment, knowing that health and wellness are springing forth in their physical body temple. I know that the chains of ignorance are being broken right now by this word spoken, and we are releasing the power of the mind to bring open hearts and minds to a place of love and peace planet-wide. There is justice forming right now, as the quote I heard this week, justice in public is what love looks like. Love in public is what justice looks like. So we're bringing that love into the world sphere right now by our hearts, by our focused thought, by the breath and the intention of our minds. I'm knowing that there is a law that listens to the love impulse, and it is listening right now, bringing peace and harmony to all those that are here on this Virch service, taking away any sense of lack or limitation, healing any sense of disharmony, bringing comfort to the soul. In this moment of shared prayer, I simply know that something magical and wonderful is taking place in the hearts of every person now, and it's showing up in their lives, because that is simply the way Spirit works. Feeling grateful for this time in prayer, I release this word into that infinite and magnificent law that loves to hear and loves to obey our thoughts by saying, "And so it is." We had a member of our center this week who has been caretaking for his wife for so long, and she made her transition on Thursday. Luann Seaman, our hearts go out to Ralph. If you contact the church office, we can get you his address if you'd like to send him a card. Ralph, I think you're on the service today. We spoke the other day. All of us love you, and all of us are sending our hearts out to you right now and holding you in an embrace. And when we get back together, we've got big hugs for you, my friend. Definitely. And we send Luann off to her next experience of life, knowing that she is met with love and joy and a full, she was in a lot of pain, and now that's gone. So, Ralph, we love you. We're with you. A wonderful member of our community who comes to visit us from time to time. We stay in touch a lot. Gary Lynn Floyd has sent a number of videos for us to use to his music, and I have one that I want to share with you this morning. It's Gary Lynn Floyd. Here he is now.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's error, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender. Let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Love you. Love you.
We love you too, Gary Lynn Floyd. Thank you for that beautiful song. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and forevermore. It's such a sweet song. What a lovely voice. We're just blessed within our movement to have so much talent and so many beautiful beings, including each and every person that's here right now and all your talent as well. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being with us. And this brings us to that moment of sharing our abundance for the center. Thank you for continuing to hold your spiritual family in your mind around its finances. We've had some challenges, but we've been able to make up for that, and we continue to do that. And we are so grateful for how you've been able to continue your tithes during this time that we've been apart, to make sure that when we come back together, our center is there waiting for us, and maybe even some upgrades we might be able to do if we can bring that time, because we have the time to do some changes. So if there are some things that the board's been trying to do, this will be a great time for us to do that, upgrading the sound system, things like that, upgrading some of the cameras so that our video performance will be that much slicker when we get back. Since we're not in the building, it's a good time to do that. If that's been on your heart, this is a great time to donate for that as well. We have a number of different ways to donate. You can do, of course, your gift to cslcme.org/donating. You can go there after the service, or right now you can pick up your smartphone and go to text the word GIVE to 805-600-5677. So those are the ways to give. And here is the affirmation that we share so that everyone in our center can experience prosperity and abundance, not just for the building and for the church and for the staff and for the ministry programs that we do, but for yourself. This pledge is for yourself as well. So say these words and let them land in the heart. In fact, I'm going to put it up on the screen. We'll take a minute to look at it. We'll take a breath. Pause. Read through it. And now we'll say it together with power, with feeling, with intentionality. Divine love is doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for CSL Simi Valley. Now, divine love is victorious.
And so now we practice the law of circulation. We breathe in, we breathe out, we receive, we give, and it's just all part of the oneness of life, the great divine. So join me in consciousness, knowing that we are so grateful for the blessings that this center provides. This center provides wonderful teachings, wonderful support. And we in turn support it, and it supports the community, and we support the community, and everything is just engaged in this divine web of life. So we are so grateful for these gifts and tithes. And with that gratitude and appreciation, we release this, and so it is.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I surrender. I am one in the spirit around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God. I trust in
Hey everyone, we're coming to the part of the service where we have a recap of the talk, and also we practice gratitude, which you all do so beautifully in the chat. It's really wonderful to see. But before we go there, I just want to remind you, please share this service on your Facebook page. It really makes a difference. Last week, Linda Legman encouraged us to share, gave us time to share the service. We had 19 shares and we have over 600 views. It's really beautiful. So please go ahead and just, click on the little arrow and share it to your page. And thank you for supporting the center in that way. Also, after service, we'll have Après Verge, and that is just the community coming together and just talking about whatever is on our hearts. And I'll post the link as soon as I'm done with this part. Okay, so you'll find the link in the chat box. And then, so gratitude. Let's practice some more gratitude because it opens up our hearts. Dr. Susan, who provides play and learn for the kids every Sunday morning. Dorothy Morgan, who did a wonderful job on the announcements. And I saw so many people being grateful for the beautiful background she had. And of course, thanks to her husband, Colin, with a Y, who managed the camera. That was really wonderful. Reverend Rob Thompson, the practitioner of the day, and his wife, Linda, I wanted to say Reverend Linda Lagman. Maybe there's something to that, but anyway, Linda Lagman, who did the camera. Sherry Dietz, our music director, and her beautiful video that she did with her son Dylan and her husband John McCloskey. Really fantastic. Thank you so much. And then Gary Lynn Floyd, who so generously just offered videos for us to use during service, and his voice is just so soothing. So, talking points for today. Mind is our shared superpower. Mind is creative. Creativity flows when we take a breath to pause. The breath supports concentration, intention, imagination, and creation. And we have everything we need. Thank you, everybody. After the service, we'll have a treat of several cameos that people send in. So stay around to learn what rocksting is, to watch a movie called Brick Wars, to listen to a beautiful poem, to spend time on the beach, and to continue to peel the onion skin. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Reverend Johanna. Oh, that's good. I can't wait to see what's happening at the end of service. Thank you for being here today. It's just a beautiful time to spend together, and I'm scrolling down because I want to get back to the closing benediction that we share that I learned from one of my teachers, Reverend Dr. Mark Vieira. And join me as we do our closing benediction. We sing our final song together, and then we have all those great videos that Johanna was just talking about. So stand by for that. Here we go. Here's the benediction. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love.
I release, I let go, I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only for God. I release, I let go, I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
A squadron of Lego men. Lego men social distancing. A German Lego man marching. Lego men filming a movie. Lego man waving a flag on top of a tank. Lego dirt biker. Lego tank driving through a city. Lego spies on a boat. Lego men with their dog. Lego pilot walking down the street. Lego men looking at the sunset on their tank. Lego men finding an Egyptian hieroglyph. Lego soldier on patrol with his dog.
Hello again from the top of Mount McCoy to all the CSL CME congregants. This is where I have been having a rocksting conversation for about 2 months with the anonymous hiker. If you don't know what rocksting is, it's texting only with rocks. So I thought I'd share a few of the messages over the past 2 months.
1, 2, 3, and holy, 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 Spirit within me, moving through me, living as me. Holy, holy. There we go.
This response is in conjunction with Reverend Stephen's lecture of just a few days ago. Today is June the 2nd, but I believe this was last Wednesday, or possibly even the Wednesday before. And his lecture title was Harmony. And at that time he asked me if I would be good enough to write a poem that would express some of the elements of his lecture. That poem is called Harmony, and it reads as follows. Heartfelt application with harmony in every being. Let us be united, let us live in harmony. Let our hearts be ever open and our minds be ever free. Let us strive to love one another. Let our faith be there for all to see. Be the trust we have in one another. Cherish the nourishment till we fully agree to be in harmonious oneness now and for all time to be.
Lonely soul, where do you wander? Out among the ruins tonight, a pilgrimage to the promised land, a lover's delight. Like Dorothy, you've been searching for what you've had all the time. Just click your heels and repeat out loud, the love I need is mine. Closer to the center, get down to the core, find the truth within, and peel the onion skin. Heavy soul, can I help you to get through the fire and ice? I listen to your problems and give loving advice. Take a breath of clean air, stand on solid ground, and gaze ahead with an open heart, then turn it all around. To get closer to the center, you've got to get down to the core, find the truth within. You got to peel the onion skin. We never get to where we're going, just farther from where we've been. So far. Layer by layer, we tear back the walls and peel the onion skin. Gentle soul, the core. Find the truth within. Listen to that voice within. And peel the onion skin.